Hi there, welcome to this video where I'm going to go in search of signs of spring. So I looked out the window this morning and I saw all of these daffodils out. I also saw the blossom on these trees just here. A friend that lives locally has said he's got some ducklings on his pond. So I thought, what better idea for a video than to go around and look for the signs of spring and take some photographs as well. I think I also know where there are some newborn lambs as well. So I'm going to go and photograph those. So come along with me in this video because I know that I'm really going to enjoy my photography. Now we've got quite a lot of damson trees in our garden, and at the moment they're covered with this white blossom that's really attractive, but unfortunately it's quite difficult to photograph because to get the flower heads quite big in the frame you've got to get quite close to them, and that means then you get quite a shallow depth of field, so you can end up tending to get the stamens in focus but the petals and the leaves out of focus, and it's a bit of a catch-22 really. So what I've done is I've focused on the tips of the stamens and I've set the aperture down to about f11 to try and maximize the depth of field that I can get, and I'm just going to live with the shallow depth of field because I think it adds a certain charm to the image if there is a little bit of out of focus in the image. Now I could focus stack it, but the problem is I've got today there is a slight bit of wind and these branches are just moving about ever so slightly, so it'd be quite tricky to focus stack them. Now you might also have seen this blossom in some of my older pictures because I use it sometimes as perches when I'm taking photographs of birds. So I'll show you some pictures of this and one with a bird landing on it as well. What's really nice about this time of year is all of the flowers that are out. Now this camellia behind me here has some lovely red flowers. Now this particular variety is called Mary Williams, and then around the front of the house we've also got some primrose as well. So I'm going to go around there now and see what else I can find. Just here in front of the house we've got this lovely magnolia tree and it's got very elegant blooms on it at this time of year that smell gorgeous. It really is a very, very attractive tree. The only downside is that these don't last very long and it'll only be another week or so before all of these blooms start falling off, and that'll be it for another year. Here there's a really attractive flower that's called a checkered lily, and unfortunately they suffer from lily beetles, and I've just seen a very vivid red one that wouldn't sit still long enough for me to get a good photograph, but I'll show you what I did get. And unfortunately it tends to eat away at some of the flower heads, but I did manage to find one that was still intact, and that's the one I've photographed. Now that I've spent a little bit of time in the garden and I've got the flowers and I've got some of the blossom on the trees, I've got a few other ideas of places that I can visit for signs of spring, so come along with me now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to spend a little bit of time in this hide just here by this pond because apparently there's been some ducklings sighted, and what could be more a sign of spring than some baby ducklings. So it is a really lovely experience sitting in the hide, regardless of whether I actually see anything. I just love being down here next to this pond because I can hear all the birds around me. I've already seen a teal anyway, so regardless of whether I see the ducklings, it really doesn't matter because it's so life affirming. Just sitting out here in nature, so calming. You can forget about everything that's going on in the real world and just concentrate on just enjoying yourself and seeing what you see. But even if nothing turns up, it's still just a great way to spend a bit of time relaxing and chilling out. I've had some really nice sightings of some teal and some moorhen. I've got some nice photos of those, and the ducklings have been out as well. And so what I'll do is I'll put the photographs from those on the screen now. When you're sat in a hide like this, you get very attuned to any movement that you see, and I did spot a bird flying around the trees, and as it came closer and I took its photograph, I've realised that it's a gold crest. Now this is really exciting because I've never seen one before, let alone photographed one, so that's a really nice addition to this morning's photographs. Now I know it's not got a lot to do with the spring theme of this video, but I've got to include it in this video just because it's the first time I've ever seen one.
One of the reasons that I wanted to do this video is for this scene here behind me, which is our local village green, and it's covered with a sea of daffodils. Now unfortunately these daffodils are slightly beyond their best. If I'd have filmed this video 2 weeks ago they would have been even more spectacular, but I wouldn't have had any blossom on the trees either, so it's a bit of a catch-22. But what I have managed to do is find some flowers that are still in fairly good condition, and I've used those as a focal point and then blurred all the others out, so you get an impression of the sea of colour, but you don't notice that some of the flowers are not quite in as good condition as some of the others. So it was still worth coming, and I'll show you the photos now. So I've come to my local farm shop because they've got some lambs just outside, and they're really cute and friendly. So I've just taken some pictures of them and some video as well, so I'll show you that.
Well, I do hope you've enjoyed that video, and it just goes to show that you don't have to travel very far to find interesting things to photograph. Most of this video has been filmed in my garden with a few extra things in my local area. Now, if you are not lucky enough to live somewhere like I live, even in a town, you can find a local park, and I'm sure there's lots of signs of spring there as well. So just get out with your camera and have a go, and you'll find something to photograph. Well, if you have enjoyed that video, do let me know down below in the comments, and over to my Vero account, that's @Photography. Leave me your comments there, and you can also see lots of my photographs. Now, if you like what I do on the channel and want to help support me to make future content like this, you can also visit my Teespring store. There I've got a range of merchandise on offer, so head off over there, and a purchase really does help me out, and it's very much appreciated. And also, don't forget the super thanks button as well. But you don't have to spend any money at all to support the channel. You can do that simply by clicking like, subscribe, and the bell notifications, because it really helps me out and it makes sure that you don't miss out on any future content. Watch out for next week's video, that goes live on Sunday. In the meantime, go and check out this video just up here, but all that's left now is to say stay safe, and I'll see you soon.